everyone. Good morning. I'm Jordi. I come from Spain, more precisely from this little region that likes to tinker about sovereignty. Can you guess where is it from? Yeah, exactly, Catalonia. You Irish get us. So, but don't worry, I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm going to tell you how each one of us can be sovereign individually online, and we're going to do that through Nostr. So to tell you a little bit more about Nostr, let me get a use case, the use case of the social media. Right? I have put some logos here of some social media platforms that what they do is like they compete with each other to get your attention. The more minutes you are in front of your phone, the more they're winning. And it's free, or they say so because you are the product. That's why it's free. And because like I have prepared here like a little topics, like they are centralized. So each one of them is like what I like to call like their house. When you enter to LinkedIn, it's their house. So when you come to my house, I have my own rules. For example, I have to ask you, can you take your shoes off? Right? So their house, their rules. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We just need to understand that this is what we are playing with. And the problem with those big platforms is that they create like these silos. So for example, there are many platforms to find a job, but we only talk about LinkedIn. Or there are many platforms to discover content creators, and we talk about YouTube. And there are platforms to make friends, but we only talk about Facebook, or to make enemies, maybe Twitter. So the problem with those things is that once they become so big, you do not have any other options to go to. And that's because of the network effects, right? So the bigger you are, the more complicated it is for another platform to tap into that market. So then they become the incumbents. And it's like, okay, it's fine. What's wrong with that? Well, that the winner takes all. And again, so if my house is the most popular house in the street, you'll come to my house because you want to hang out with the cool kids, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We just need to understand that we are sharing all of our information over there. Just think about it. These people own your data. So another thing that when you are playing with social media, what happens? We say, yeah, I can share all the pictures that I'm having, or I can have all these conversations, or I can talk about anything because I have nothing to hide. Well, if you have nothing to hide, why are all of you wearing clothes today? Okay, maybe you say, no, because it's cold and it's convenient. Okay, there's another example. Curtains. Why do you guys have curtains at home? Curtains are useless. Yeah, we have windows and they insulate. We are not living in a world where the heat or the cold comes from outside. So we have curtains. It's fine. We have something to hide. We all have something to hide, and it's good to have something to hide. The idea is that we can choose with whom we are sharing this information. And I have this other example, the private conversations. Why are we having private conversations if we have nothing to hide? No, we want to keep our privacy, so we have things to hide. Let me give you this example. I have this friend. She had an Instagram account where she posted like pictures of silly cats doing silly stuff. Well, she doesn't have it anymore because Instagram decided that that was against the terms and conditions of the platform. What are those terms and conditions? Those things that we sign and we say, next, 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 yes, yes, yes. I sell my soul to whichever platform. And she tried to fight for it and get it back. She never got it because she's nobody. She's just like, it was just a dumb account. But with this example, which you might say, it's useless, who cares? It was just a dumb silly cats account. Think about the creators. You'll see today here a lot of content creators, a lot of Bitcoin podcasters and video creators. So one thing is that you're posting stupid things on the internet that nobody cares about. But once your lifestyle depends on that, you start thinking about, where am I posting these things? And let me give you an example. If you look for your favorite YouTuber, blogger, content creator, you'll see that he doesn't only have one social platform. He normally has to duplicate his content anywhere. And once he's done it, he also, in the same platform, he has like a secondary account or a third party. Why do they do that? There are many reasons. Maybe like targeted audiences or different topics. But one of the reasons is that the fear they have of losing that account. If they lose their account, they lose their income. So this is the situation today with social media platforms. Because they own your data. So when you get in one of those platforms, you think that, no, it's my pictures. No, it's never your pictures. Once you upload a picture on Instagram, it's a picture owned by Instagram. You are just a person that has access until they say the opposite to view this content. And some platforms, they don't even allow you to edit this content. But an employee from Instagram, he can come. Imagine you post a picture. Oh, I'm having so much fun today here at Bitcoin Ireland. If any employee with a little bit of a higher rank enters into your account and says, I hate Bitcoin, they ruined your reputation. They can do that. Their house, their rules. They can change anything because it's not your content. You are just a provider of content that is attached to your name or to your user account. So that's why today I'm here to talk about Nostr. It's a protocol, the protocol for freedom. What is a protocol? This is not going to be a technical talk. At 11, I run a workshop about Nostr, so if any of you is more curious about what I'm touching on the surface today, come later at this other room nearby, and then we can play, and I can help you how to onboard on Nostr. So what is a protocol? I want to give you like an example, like a dining protocol. If we have like a fine dine, and we have to agree on, okay, we're gonna dress like this way, we're gonna eat this type of food, we have to put the cutlery here, and there. That's a protocol. A protocol is just an agreement of set of rules that all that participate in this fine dining, we agree on. Let me give you another example of a protocol on the internet. And all of you use it every day, probably. And this is email. It doesn't matter if I have a Gmail account and I send you an email through Proton and you send an email to another person with Outlook. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't have to send an email to another person that has the same tool that I'm using, which is Gmail. No, because all those tools are clients that are built on top of an underlying protocol that is called the internet. So the email. So Nostr is the same, right? It's a protocol. And in top of Nostr, you can build many, many things. I started my talk talking about the use case of social networks. But there are other use cases. So let me tell you the 9 core principles of Nostr, and based on that, maybe you can start thinking like, is it interesting to me or not? So the first, security. Nostr uses a type of security that we Bitcoiners know, which is the public and private keys encryption. So we don't have any more usernames and passwords. When you create an account on Instagram or whatever, what you're doing is like you are assigning an email normally with a password. But this data is stored in the computers of, in this case, of Instagram. So they can tell you that they're hash it and they're using like the encryption mechanisms and blah, blah, blah. But you never know if this is true and you don't know if there are backdoors or anything. On Nostr, because it's like this open source public and private keys system, you know it's everything you store there. It's completely private. Nobody can get into it. Second principle, interoperability. Okay, let me explain you this with an example. Imagine you are a content creator, you created this YouTube account, you put all this effort, you're doing a podcast a day, and you have raised your audience, and you have like 5 million followers. Then after that, you have to start creating a new follow-up in Twitter, for example. In Nostr, you can bring your followers from one place to another one. I'm going to run, because there are many more. Censorship resistant. Everything you do, it's not based on one single server. Open source, because it's open source, anybody can check the protocol and see if there are vulnerabilities, etc. Decentralized, because nothing is stored in the same servers, as I was saying before. Verifiable. This is, I think, my favorite one and the one that you have to remember the most. Everything you post on Nostr, you can verify you posted it. It's not attached to your identity. It doesn't have to be like your real identity, but your account, the account that you created. So this is very good to avoid spam, fake news, or these fake videos that they create. Everything you post, if somebody touches something, 1 pixel, you can verify it has been edited. Flexible, you can build many things. It's confidential. We can have like a private conversation using Nostr chat, which is completely secure because you're using your private keys. And of course, all of this together bring you sovereignty. Anything you do on the internet, you can say you are the one that built it. I wanted to talk about the nomad effect, but I don't have time. So I want to tell you what Nostr use cases are there. And I started with the social network. Those are some of the apps that you can play. But Nostr is not a social network. It's a protocol, and you can build many things on top, like music and podcasts, like a marketplace to sell and buy used goods, productivity tools, messaging, as I was saying, encrypted messaging, streaming video, and travel and social. I work for Satlantis. This is a social network plus directory for travelers, and we are using Nostr. All those things can be, all these apps are like, it's like an ecosystem of apps. Those are just a couple. There are hundreds of apps. You can log in using the same username. So if you create a social, it's called the social graph. If you create like some reputation on a social network, then you can bring that same reputation to a streaming video content or to another platform. So I'm done with my talk. If anybody wants to know a little bit more about Nostr, come join at 11 at the workshop area. And if you want to know more, feel free to engage with me in my socials. I'm Jordi Llonch. You can play around with Satlantis. If you want to know more about that, come to my workshop. Look for me. I'm wearing this hat all day. I have like this cool T-shirt saying I'm a Bitcoiner. Come reach out to me. Thank you for your time and enjoy the day.